Hey friends, Amanda here, Bare Bones Living. Welcome back. And today I am going to be making a cast iron honey cornbread that I'm going to be pairing with some barbecue that I am making for the Last Chance Cook-Off collaboration that I'm involved in. So check out the link below for the playlist for that. It's going the whole month of September. And my video will be going up on the 15th, but there are over 100 channels and contributors for this collaboration, so definitely check that out. And this cornbread that I'm making today is just one of my sides, so if you want to see the main course that I'm going to be cooking, check out my video on September 15th, and then go and check out all the other videos happening all month long. There's going to be some great recipes and some great main courses that people are going to be cooking on their barbecues. But like I said, today I'm just making a side, and that is my honey cornbread in a cast iron skillet. And so I'm going to start with, I don't personally have any buttermilk, and I don't have like any dairy animals that I would have, you know, like some leftover byproducts of making cream or anything like that. So I'm gonna make like a cheater buttermilk, and that is with milk and vinegar. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, and I'll show you how we do that. So for this recipe, it calls for 1.25 cups of buttermilk, but to make a standard cup of buttermilk, you would put a tablespoon of white vinegar into a measuring cup, and then fill the milk up to the 1 cup mark and let it sit for 5 minutes, and that makes buttermilk. But since this recipe calls for 1.25 cups of buttermilk, I need to put 4 teaspoons, or a tablespoon plus a teaspoon, same difference, and then fill it up to the 1.25 cups mark. It's not water, it's vinegar, baby. Alright, so that's 4 teaspoons of vinegar, and then I'm going to take my milk and fill it up to the 1.25 cups line on my measuring cup. There we go. And mix this around and let it sit for 5 minutes, and that is a cheater buttermilk. So we'll set that aside and make our dry ingredients. So first I'm going to mix together our dry ingredients, and that is going to be 1 cup of flour, ¾ of a cup of cornmeal, and that's basically exactly what I have in here, so that's perfect. Awesome. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. A half a teaspoon of baking soda. And then 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So I'll just mix that all, oh, surprise. I'll mix that all together and make a mess. And that will be my dry ingredients. And then I have my 9-inch cast iron skillet preheating in the oven at 375 with a half a tablespoon of butter in it. And then with the rest of my stick of butter, or half cup of butter, whatever's remaining, I'm going to melt in the microwave for my wet ingredients. So now I'm going to mix up the wet ingredients, and right here I have a cup of sugar, and I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of oil, the rest of my stick of butter melted, I'm going to be adding 2 eggs, and these are the eggs that I water glassed, and these are actually at the bottom of my water glass jar, which means they're my oldest. So you guys can see how they did. I've been happy with them, but I'm still cracking them into like a separate container just to give it the sniff test, just to make sure. But totally fine, has no odor to it at all. The texture or the integrity of the eggshell is different. And see, like that first one cracked with the yolk intact, and this one cracked with the yolk already broken. Still has no scent though, but that's kind of why you can't really do the over easy with these water glassed eggs, because they don't always stay intact. But that's another discussion. This is a 1/3 cup of honey. And this is honey that I got from Azure, which I will link below. It's a really awesome whole food bulk grocer. And this is raw organic honey that was crystallized, which is actually a good sign of good honey. So I had to warm up some water and stick it in there to melt it again. And then this is our cheater buttermilk, the 1.25 cup buttermilk we're going to add. And I'm going to mix this all up. Trying really hard not to make a gigantic mess with this. With the sugar and the honey. Gets kind of sticky. I incorporate all of this, and then I'm going to add the dry ingredients to this. Okay, so I'm just going to incorporate these dry ingredients into cornbread.
What are you making?
Cornbread.
Cornbread?
Mm-hmm.
Is it gonna be yummy?
Of course. It's honey cornbread. You like honey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna just incorporate. Hey, Cole. No. You don't want to get your dinosaur dirty, do you?
No.
Okay, well then be careful. You know Mommy's a dirty cook. Messy cook, right? Yeah.
This is my dinosaur now.
Okay. All right, so we don't want to over mix this. Kind of like pancake batter. Just to have it incorporated, I'm going to stop there. So I've had my cast iron in here preheating with a half a tablespoon of butter at 375. So I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to spread it around. Try to get it up the sides a little bit. You could also use baking grease in here. And I'm going to get this batter in there. This may not be the prettiest. I'm not going for aesthetics here, I'm going for flavor. I hope you guys can hear that little sizzle there. We want that, that's flavor. And that's always my goal in cooking. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what anyone else thinks about it, as long as it tastes good. So you can see that it's kind of golden around the edges. That's going to be delicious. I'm going to put my
I got some more on my finger.
gloves back on so I don't burn the heck out of myself.
Look, Mom.
Hold on, baby. Put it back into the oven. For 28 to 32 minutes. Alright, so it has been 28 minutes and I'm pretty sure it's ready. And it looks gorgeous. So I let this cool for a second and it has actually pulled away from the cast iron. I'm sure I could probably just pull this whole thing out and put it on a platter, but all my stuff's in storage so I can't do that. So I'm just going to cut it right here in the cast iron. And I'm just going, these are huge pieces too, so I'm going to cut these, a little bit more. Because I got a bunch of littles in my house and that's a lot of cornbread. That's a lot of cornbread for just me. Even though I love it, this is just a side. But that is gorgeous. Whoop. It's nice and moist. And that is going to be a perfect, didn't stick or anything. That's going to be a perfect side for our barbecue. And it's sweet. So this is going to be, like I said, this is going to be a great side to any barbecue. And tonight we're going to be eating it with our Asian coleslaw and our main course for the Last Chance Cook-Off, which you guys will have to stay tuned to see on September 15th. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you guys for stopping by today and joining in on our journey here at Bare Bones Living. We'll catch you on the next one.